Hello and welcome to another episode of Schnozzcast. You are joined today by your hosts, Bob and Cory, and Nick. Todd is MIA for the evening, but in our thoughts, as always.
Prayers, Todd. Prayers.
No prayers, just thoughts.
Oh, he's always in my prayers. Every night I get down on my knees at the side of my bed.
Oh, is that what you're doing? On your knees, praying?
And I pray for you guys.
Okay.
Talking to a man about a horse?
Yep.
If this is any indication of the show's going to
go. No. I just want to let you know that I love you guys. That's all.
It's way too early for that.
Yeah. I think I said the same thing last episode we did, and I was roundly mocked.
Yeah, you did say that.
Yeah. It's still fresh.
I feel the same way.
I don't remember doing any mocking, so.
That's because you guys are very lovey.
Let's go back to the tape.
You guys are very lovey friends.
Speaking of lovey friends, if you're new to the podcast, welcome. Please join us here each and every weekend. You can find older episodes, including the last one we did, in case you missed it, out in the streaming services, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, or anywhere else where you can get a podcast. You can also follow us on social media on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Schnozzcast. You can email us with your sage words of advice or requests for assistance in relationship troubles to schnozzcast@gmail.com, or you can call or text us anytime, day or night, at 618-SHOCKER.
On the Shocker line, always open and ready to take your calls, questions, queries, comments, gripes, or bitches.
No concerns. Do not bring concerns to us.
They will not be tolerated.
Notice that was not in there.
Unless you start with a gripe that turns into a concern.
Nope. It'll be immediately dismissed.
What if it's in the last 2 seconds?
Guess what?
If it's a 1 minute?
You had us all the way through.
Yeah.
And we're like, we're with this person. We got to help them out.
Mm-hmm.
And at the last minute, they're like, but the concern, guess what? You're done.
Too bad. It's not getting answered.
Text, email goes in the trash.
Tell me, Cory, how would, as a co-host of the show, how would you discern for the moment when a gripe turns into a concern? What's the key thing you're listening for?
The moment someone says my concern.
That's a great answer. I think well played, sir. I think.
I mean,
I yelled check, and you're like, checkmate, bitch.
I figured that'd be the easiest way to figure out when a gripe turns into a concern.
He is a simple man.
So even if they said, "Here, I have a gripe," and they go on for 4 minutes, at the very end, it's like, "And gentlemen, that's my concern. Thanks." Click.
Done. Trashed.
Almost got us.
Almost.
Yeah, you son of a bitch.
But no concerns on this podcast.
Right in the trash. Right in the garbage. Well, listen, happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody.
Valentine's Day? That's what you're going to say.
I almost did.
Yeah, you did.
Good Lord. And then out of my corner of my eye, I'm like, Cory's wearing green. It can't be Valentine's Day.
Or we just had a conversation about it being St. Patrick's Day and wearing green.
You don't know how my brain works.
Bing, 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 bing.
Green St. Patrick's Day.
Yes, there you go.
Everybody. So here's to you.
Yeah. Cheers. Happy St. Patty's Day.
Cheers.
If you got to go out yesterday or on St. Patty's Day, let's assume this is, maybe you're listening to this in the past.
Wait, what?
How is that possible?
It's not.
Someone time traveled and listened.
Look, at some point there's going to be time travel.
If you were listening to us in the past, please let us know how you did this, because we're very, very interested.
No, never let us know, because then your secret will be discovered.
Well, do they do it in the present, though?
Yeah. Well, in their present, yeah.
But wouldn't, for us to know, it would have to be our present day,
Let's just
too?
start the show over. Let's just start over. Did we even play the music yet? Oh,
wow. Funko.
All right, Cory, what kind of Funko you got for us tonight?
Well, guys, it's been so many months. I have a lot of Funkos for you tonight.
I moved to the bank with the agreement. It sounded, fuck, I should have left it where it was. It would have been great.
No,
Great
you were not just
opportunity.
transported into the past. Although it may seem that way by the music.
Yeah.
We have our own sense of time travel.
Anyway, as I was saying, if you enjoy St. Patrick's Day,
Should we be going back to what you were saying?
probably not. We could move directly ahead.
This was the first St. Patrick's Day on record
Yeah.
that all of us have worked and not had the day off.
Yeah.
And my significant other actually went out and enjoyed St. Patrick's Day, that being a first as well. So, yeah, it was a weird St. Patty's Day.
Yeah, not going out kind of sucked.
Yeah, dude, but it being on a Friday, like to take that time off, and now having to work Saturday mornings, I would have had taken Saturday morning off.
Right.
So it was definitely not worth it for me. But
yeah,
I think we're just at that point of our lives, gentlemen, where we can't afford to take it off. I know I couldn't. And talking to you guys the day before, it seemed like you couldn't either.
Like I said, it would have been 2 days off for me.
Yeah, we did. We were, and knowing that we were also going to be here in the podcast on the day after St. Patty's Day. So it was just to the point where I'm like, okay, if we're deciding we're not going to do the podcast for some reason, then I can definitely do it and go out after work, but I can't do both. And I feel like you guys are in the same boat.
Oh, yeah. Most definitely.
Yeah. It's a whole commitment. And it's been a number of years since I've taken St. Patty's Day off. You know, we had pandemic in 2020, and then year after, you're like, I'm trying not to catch COVID. And then you
catch COVID.
Then you do catch COVID multiple times.
And then you're like, oh, fuck it. I want St. Patty's Day to be here.
When was the last time that we went out to Three Nicks for St. Patty's? Was that how many?
I don't know.
Was that?
It's a while ago.
I know we were definitely doing the podcast, but that's the last time I remember going out on St. Patty's Day.
I feel like wasn't that last year? Because you guys walked from here down to Three Nicks.
It would have had to have been, because if it wasn't last year, it would have been pre-pandemic, and that seems like it's way too long ago.
But pre-pandemic we did the show the day before the world shut down.
But the world didn't shut. The world shut down the day after we went to Letterkenny. It didn't shut down the day after St. Patty's Day. I want to say it was before St. Patty's Day. There was no St. Patty's Day in 2020.
Right, but what? Maybe I'm thinking. Okay, maybe I'm thinking.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In 2020, we went to see Letterkenny downtown Detroit, and that day, that was the last day. The next day, everybody started to panic. And we were like, I was like, holy fuck, did we all catch COVID?
Why was I correlating that to the day we did the St. Patty's Day show, where we actually did the recording?
Oh, that was years before.
At like 8 a.m. or 10 a.m. whenever we started.
Might have been the year before.
The 10 a.m. thing was smack dab in the middle of lockdown.
Was it?
Yep, that was St. Patrick's Day, and that was locked. Everything was already closed down. Bars were closed. Everything was closed.
Huh. Okay. I guess I just got my ears flipped in.
Now, we may have taken that day off.
Now, I don't think Letterkenny was around St. Patrick's Day.
No, it was pre St. Patty's Day.
Yeah, but I know it was the last day before everything shut down.
All right. Yeah, I guess I just got my ears flipped.
Stop flipping those ears, Cory.
Oh, you know me, Bob.
Doesn't suit you well, sir.
Love flipping my ears.
All right, where are we at with this? Because I feel like, yep, he moved it. So, gentlemen's agreement.
Gentlemen's agreement. Gentlemen's agreement. Gentlemen's agreement. Gentlemen's agreement. Gentlemen's agreement. Gentlemen's agreement. Oh, gentlemen's agreement. Oh, it's the motherfucking gentlemen's agreement. Gentlemen's agreement. Oh, gentlemen's.
All right, if you're new to the show, Gentlemen's Agreement is a segment in which we assign each other a movie or TV show that we like, that we've seen that the other fellas have not. We kind of draw at random and assign it to him to watch. And this is a spoiler-free, quick review of that thing. And then at the end of it, we'll assign, we'll make new assignments for the next episode that we do. So without any further discussion, I want to start with Nick.
Okay.
You had The Quiet Man from me.
Yep, Quiet Man. John Wayne. I think it was great. I loved it. And I think it was really cool. I don't know if you planned it out that way, that it all takes place in Ireland.
I honestly did not. I went for the first. So if you're new to the show, the last time we did Gentleman's Agreement, Nick had been assigned, I think, the latest in a series of flicks that don't fall into his, like, oh, I'm excited about that zone.
Right.
And he was not a fan of whatever it was. I can tell you what it was. It was This Place Rules.
Sorry, man.
Yeah. Given that, I'm like, let me just look and see. I got to have a Western here somewhere. And that was the first one I saw. The fact that it happened to take place in Ireland was complete coincidence.
Yeah, and it really wasn't a Western.
No, and I
It was
the
just
next
a
day
John
after
Wayne
I
movie.
signed it to you, I'm like, oh, The Quiet Man. It's actually kind of a romantic comedy, sort of.
It was a very John Wayne movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty. I mean, it was almost. It was almost like McClintock in Ireland.
Yeah, that's a good. Okay.
I mean,
Yep.
it's basically what it was. But I enjoyed it. It was all about the Irish and being in Ireland, and it was awesome. It was right around St. Patrick's Day, so
Okay. And you hadn't seen it before.
no.
Okay. I generally I try to ask you when I assign it to you, but I'm sure in this case enough time has passed where I just don't even bother asking anymore.
I think you did at the time.
Okay. All right. Well, now I'm down a Western, so I'm going to have to hunt for other John Wayne stuff that you have.
Yeah, and again, it
Not
wasn't
seen.
a Western.
No, but I see John Wayne and like he's made so many Westerns and war films that it's either one or the other to me.
How many fucking times do I have to tell you it wasn't a goddamn Western?
There was no cowboy hats.
Were there horses anywhere?
There
Yeah,
were
but it was-
There were some horses?
There were scally caps.
But it was like in the
abound,
1920s, so
though.
yeah.
Yeah.
In Ireland.
Oh. I mean, there could have been some Lone Rangers in
Nope.
Ireland in 1920.
Cowboys
Lone
are very
Rangers.
very American.
Yeah.
Do you think John Wayne was in the Lone Ranger?
No,
Okay.
I was just using that.
Now that he mentions that there were a few Lone Rangers in Ireland in this movie. Couple Lone Rangers.
Damn it.
No, it was really good.
All right, man. Happy to hear it. Cory, you had Big Timber.
Big Timber from Nick, which, as he did point out, we had started watching the one night we were up at Ray's, but without volume and all that, you can't really get the full effect.
Mm-hmm.
So watching it with volume and on my own time, great show. It's anyone that's familiar with like Bering Sea Gold, that's another favorite of mine. Whitewater Gold Rush. This is basically along the same lines, just replacing the gold with trees. And these guys have a lumber company that they run up in Alaska and
Canada.
Canada. Gold's Alaska. But dude, they're ingenious. Like watching these guys live off the land and do everything by hand and for themselves. You can't just go to Home Depot and pick up items and tools and things you need for when stuff breaks down. So what they do with their stuff, it's absolutely amazing, and it's really cool to watch. So great pick.
Isn't it weird how, like, they're roughing it, but they're not? You know, I mean, they're roughing it in the sense because they're in the middle of fucking nowhere, but it's not like they're like in the middle. They're like the real middle of nowhere. It's not like, you know, the pioneer days. Like they
No,
get their hands on stuff.
Yeah, it's roughing it to the sense of like, yeah, I mean, you can still live comfortably, but you also know if something does happen, like one of your machines breaks or, you know, a saw breaks, like, you know, you're going to have to do something yourself to continue working for that next week, 2 weeks, maybe a month before you can get that brand new part, you know, up to where you're at.
Yeah, I don't think there's any like Amazon deliveries.
Yeah,
on.
no, there probably is, but again,
It might be
it's
like
not,
once a month it comes in.
right. It's not next day shit. That'll be there in a month when we can get it there.
Yeah.
So yeah, to know like that, there's still plenty of people out there that have that ingenuity about them. It's pretty amazing.
It blew me away just about the amount of people. Like he had specialists, like this guy doing this guy doing that, you know. So, but yeah,
It was great pick.
Glad you liked it.
Bobbert.
Awesome. I had to watch Stutz. I think it was from Todd.
Yeah, it had to been.
Okay. So
Oh yeah, because I gave Todd The Last of Us.
You did. Okay. So Stutz is a documentary film on Netflix, about 2 hours in length. But as a documentary, I'm like, I don't see a single serial killer in this whole thing. So let's give it a shot. Stutz is a movie that Jonah Hill made. The actor Jonah Hill made about his therapist, whose last name is Stutz. And so for the first 15 minutes, I'm like, man, do I really need to be watching a 2-hour documentary about therapy? And it was tough because I'm like, all right, just I can stick with it because there's got to be something about this that he found redeeming and he wanted me to see. Can you really spoil something about a documentary? I guess you could, without spoiling anything. Jonah Hill had gone through some ups and downs in his life and had reached a point where he really needed help and ended up getting in touch with this gentleman, Mr. Stutz, and started going to therapy. And his particular process that he used for therapy was something that really helped Jonah Hill to kind of turn his life around and really set himself off in a different direction. And he was so enamored with the process and the guy who introduced him to it, who helped him make that breakthrough, that they got kind of really close as just two people. And he decided he wanted to make a film about it. So it's a lot of it's in black and white. The guy's really a fascinating character, and you know there are reasons for therapy, and there are times where therapy can be helpful for people if they feel like that's what they need in order to move past something or move forward. Just watching something about therapy, I can already like feel the in this room like, okay, I'm not really seeing I have no interest in therapy, but I will say it was really, really interesting. And the way I knew that was the next day, I was still thinking about it.
Yeah, no, and it's not that I'm.
Have you watched it?
No, it is actually something that we have on our watch list.
Okay.
That we wanted to see. So yeah, no, I don't think just because it's about therapy that it's like, oh well, forget it. I mean, Jonah Hill's an interesting guy.
Yeah, to put it nicely.
I'm not going to say he's a great actor by any means, but to maybe see him in an actual real life scenario, and something that's, you know, definitely more than skin deep, it would be interesting to see out of him.
Yeah, I guess there's no patient-doctor confidentiality, huh?
Well, not when you put your doctor in the documentary and release it on Netflix.
I was going to say, I mean, yeah, you can sign your own rights away to put whatever you want.
But I mean, the whole thing is extremely personal.
Yeah.
So if you're Jonah Hill, you can't really make a documentary about you and your therapist without revealing some details about your problems. And he does, like, quite a bit. So I had some respect for, like, wow, he's kind of laying it all out there. So if that's your bag, definitely check it out on Netflix.
As Austin Powers said,
it's not my bag, baby.
It's not my bag, baby.
Yeah. I could go without Jonah Hill.
Like I said, man, I'm not. I don't think he's a great actor by any means. There's stuff that he's been in that I've liked. But yeah, I'm not like, oh my god, he really knows how to put on a role.
No,
he knows how to eat a role, but
roll.
Hey.
Yeah, my thing is like, he was in a super popular movie, and then he lost a bunch of weight.
Have you seen that movie?
I have.
All right.
And he lost a bunch of weight.
Super bad.
Super bad, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if that's what he was referring to.
I assumed it was.
Yeah. Lost a bunch of weight and had like some high-end celebrity friends, and now like everyone wants to know what Jonah Hill thinks, and Jonah Hill's offended by this, and Jonah Hill's offended by it. He's offended by this. He's like offended by everything, you know. And it's like, oh my god, dude, fucking get over yourself.
I don't know what you're talking about, but
I'm sure you know.
I've literally never seen anything say that, but I've not been looking for it.
Yeah,
I don't know anything about that.
Okay, well, I'll explain to you later.
That's there.
Yeah, fill me in later.
I can't remember whose roast it was, but Jonah Hill was there, and like an actual comedian was on stage and giving their part of the roast, and they had mentioned something about like how the fuck did Jonah Hill even get up here? Like who are
he's
you?
Friends
like,
with Leonardo DiCaprio, okay?
Like, yeah, we get it. You lost a bunch of weight, you gained weight, you lost a bunch of weight. Good for you. Why are you on the stage? And they're like, oh, wait a second. I see Seth Rogen up here. That's why Jonah Hill's here.
There was the roast of James Franco.
That's probably what it was then.
Bill Hader got up as the king of Hollywood. And it's like, Jonah, do we really need two of these guys in Hollywood? I assume you heard because Seth's here, and that may be the.
It was probably the.
He flipped. Apparently, he like one of the things was like he flipped the fuck out because he would go on shows and they want to know about like his transition. Like, oh my God, like look, you lost all this weight. That's amazing, Well, and he like freaked out on several people. He's like, I'm not gonna. I refuse to talk about this. This is not about my body. We have to talk about it. And I'm like, okay, all right. Like he's done stuff like that on several occasions.
I would say, especially with this documentary too. Like I could see him going a very Shia LaBeouf route with.
Yeah, I mean, not in the documentary, I will say, but if you're suggesting that the documentary is the first,
that's what I'm suggesting.
In that journey toward Shia LaBeouf territory.
Yeah, no, I don't think it fully comes out in the documentary by any means, but I think he's slowly headed towards that, like completely dramatic, artsy. Like, I sat in a movie theater for 48 hours and watched all my movies, so I could critique them myself or see what other people. It's like, dude, calm it the fuck down.
Like, I really have a lot of respect for people like the old, mindset of, with great power comes great responsibility, and he kind of blew up. And
yeah, Superbad was huge for Jonah Hill.
Yeah, and you should be humbled by that. You went from no one knowing who you are to being a household name, and when people are like, what's the Spider-Man who's like one of the worst celebrities in the world?
Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, like Tobey Maguire, like a piece of shit. Like again, no one knew who he was, and he can't stand fans, and he screams at them and gives them the finger and leave him.
No, the thing about Tobey Maguire is that the movie that Jessica Chastain made, I think I assigned it to you, where she's sort of like the madam over this poker game.
Oh, yeah.
Remember the name of the movie? Because I don't.
It's going to take me a second, but I can probably find it.
It's in your list,
yeah.
I'm sure, if I looked. But
anyhow,
she's a very, very smart girl who it takes over this poker game, which involves people from Hollywood playing in the poker game. And Michael Cera, the actor, who's also in Superbad, as Jonah Hill's best friend,
right,
is in the movie playing a guy who's a complete and total asshole in the game and fucks her over. And the behind the scenes news is that in the story of that movie, he is playing a fictionalized version of Tobey Maguire. Of what Tobey Maguire actually had done
person.
in real celebrity poker games.
Yeah, I mean, and just the thing, I mean, Jonah Hill, you don't hear as many things like Tobey Maguire-esque or ish, but he still is kind of not very humble, and all about him, and everything. I mean, it's just he's very delicate, and I give a lot of credit for celebrities that exhibit grace, and are class acts. I mean, that really resonates with me. So for someone so new, that especially, you would think that you would just be like so thankful, like, yeah, sure, let's talk about whatever,
Yeah, you would think, but
so
but I always try to. I mean, it's easy to being outside looking at celebrities who have money and fame and all this kind of shit, and when they talk about their problems, it's easy to shit on them, but at the same time, I recognize that I don't have any idea what it's like to be famous, none, and so what that does to you. And why you might like freak out by someone asking you the same question every single day for 100 days, or every single part of your life being under a microscope. I don't have any idea what that feels like. So I kind of give him a little bit of leeway.
But as my family would say, he's got no problem accepting the checks, though.
No, of course, and that's the other side of it, right? And that's if you accept the checks, you should accept the comes with getting those checks.
Yeah, and that's why I find it really hard too. Like, yeah, you might be annoyed by something and hate being asked the same question every day 100 times, but it doesn't mean you can treat someone or an individual like shit.
Yeah, if you want to like outside the show, like be like, hey, you know, I specifically asked, you know, let's not steer the conversation this way. You know, unfortunately, you know, I don't enjoy that. You know,
I mean,
it's just probably going to turn out that I'm not going to be back. You know, but
or just ignore people,
laugh it off. You know, do something.
You don't have to confront someone that paparazzi and all that are reporters that are around you. You don't have to engage them. I mean, yeah, I'm sure it's very hard to ignore all that, but you don't have to engage anyone. Molly's game. I know.
Yep.
I was going to try to slide it in there at some point.
No, I appreciate that.
So yeah, wow. This took a deep, dark turn.
No, it's okay. This is, I'm done with that review. This is more kind of that celebrity gossip shit that a lot of podcasts talk about. We don't spend a ton of time doing it, but I don't have any problem doing it. Okay, so let's do new assignments for next time. Cory, you got Nick. Nick, you got me, and I got Cory.
Nick, you have Kaleidoscope.
Oh, man.
This is always like something that's super easy for you guys, and this is something that's going to take me a while. So
that's fine.
I'll have to let you know later. Yeah.
Yeah, but even later in the show, it's fine.
I'll just put a reminder on my phone this time.
All right, Cory. Have you seen? You may have seen this with Danielle at some point. Have you seen Erin Brockovich?
Mm.
You have.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I actually saw that one. Not right when it came out. Several years later.
Okay. What'd you think?
It's all right. It was. I think at the time when it came out, it was definitely
Sounds like a chick show.
kind of. Yeah. It's. I mean, it's not. It's to me. It's almost like along the lines of like Pretty Woman. Like you even
Well, just because it has Julia Roberts in it.
well, no. Just like as a guy, like it's still, even though it's this romantic story, like there's still enough in it to kind of capture your attention, if that makes any sense.
Would you rather Miss Congeniality?
Between Miss Congeniality and Erin Brockovich, or Miss Congeniality and Pretty Woman?
Sure.
That just answer. Okay.
Both. Make a choice for both.
Yeah.
Miss Congeniality.
For both?
I don't know what that means.
So it's a contest, right? You have to pick either Miss Congeniality or Pretty Woman.
Miss Congeniality.
Miss Congeniality or Erin Brockovich.
Miss Congeniality.
Right. Well, that's your answer.
Yeah.
For both.
Okay, I see what you're saying now.
All right.
Took me a second there. Sorry. I think I'm caught up now.
You are caught up now. All right. Then, Cory, you got...
The Devil Wears Prada.
You got... now, this is the movie, not the TV series. You have The Odd Couple.
You said the movie, not the TV series?
Correct.
Okay.
There have actually been multiple TV series. This is the 1968 movie with Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau.
Oh, thank God. This is going to be great.
Are you being sarcastic?
Yes. Very much so.
I think there's parts in it
Come
where
on, man. Give it a shot.
I think there's parts in it where someone speaks French and there's subtitles.
I'm again, if you've not listened to this segment before, as your first time, I'm assigning this to Cory because I love this movie. I think that he will like it.
Okay. Do you?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, this is what we do. We are willing to bet money on it. So if it were to cost him money to rent this movie for like $3.99 or whatever, I will pay him back if he says he hated it.
Bob, the only copy I could find was a platinum version I had to have overnighted from China.
$75.
Cost me quite a bit.
Listen, at the end of that,
he stands by
At
his
the end of
word.
that, I will be owning a platinum copy of The Odd Couple. From, where'd you say it was from? Scandinavia?
He just
Taiwan? I don't
Taiwan?
know.
Bob just got oddly excited that he's going to be the owner of that.
I'm like,
now.
dude, I'll give you my DVD copy. I'll take the platinum thing. That's fine. All right, and you're going to tell me later?
Yes. I have a reminder this time.
Alrighty. Okay.
Guys, it's all good. I got a reminder. We won't forget.
Yeah, last time I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll have to think of it later. And I totally did not. And then Cory came to the show without saying anything to me and was like, I picked my own. Just by the way, I picked my own.
By the time I was going to start watching, I already realized you hadn't picked anything. And I'm like, it's Saturday morning. There's no way that
while I was at work that I would be able to write you back. Yeah.
Oh, you normally don't when you're at work, so and extra stress of trying to make you find a fucking movie and out of nowhere.
Very stressful, yeah. It is stressful sometimes. Oh my goodness, where is Mr. Todd Dillon? So we need to know. We need to toast him for St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, St. Patty's Day, Todd.
Here we go. This is from Cory. That's been
Finally doing this.
we decided it needed a hard 3 weeks of chilling. Yeah, this will have to sit because the one with less alcohol is a little frozen.
Oh no,
Who would have thought?
it is.
Mine are both good.
Look at
No, it's like some sort of gelatinous. You know how on its way to being a liquid, solid turns into like a plasma sort of a thing. That's what I've got here.
yeah. Does it
Yeah,
ice
we like to throw a little science into the show every now and again.
turns into quite a viscous
All
fluid.
right, so we're gonna go with the regular shot of
Bob.
We're gonna leave this.
Bob
set
Nye,
a
the
little-
science guy.
I mean, do we need to do a shot of actual Fireball? I'm pretty sure we know what that tastes like. Or are we going to do like the side by side?
Side by side. A little taste test, a comparison, if you will. I can't believe those froze up.
How can you not believe it? They have less alcohol.
Dude, they're fine. Both of them. Bob's working his best to not spill anything right now. Yes, you spilled my drink already.
We hadn't started the show yet, and that wasn't.
Still though. I'm gonna say that's still spillage, buddy.
I don't think I need to see anything else than the fact that one is frozen and one is not.
So you're telling me the cinnamon ones are the ones that are frozen?
The ones with less alcohol are frozen.
Yeah, cinnamon.
Yep.
Well, we'll just wait a second on those.
The ones where they have abstained from saying whiskey.
All right. If you're new to the podcast, please pour yourself a shot and join us, especially because it may be St. Patty's Day.
Wherever you might be.
They could be listening to this a year from now. St. Patty's Day.
Or it could be in the
2024.
past.
Yes. If
Fucking
you're
time
travel-
travelers. Motherfuckers need to
Cheers.
stop.
Happy St. Pat's, whatever year.
We should just cater to the time travelers and come in next week and do it like a Thanksgiving show.
Oh, my goodness.
Could we do a Christmas 1937 show?
Yes.
I'm reminded.
Dress up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give people presents from the 30s.
I'm reminded of a parable. And I'll read it for you now.
Oh my God. I can already tell this is going to be fantastic.
May those who love us.
Yep, because he's going to do it in the voice the entire time.
May those who love us, and those who do not love us. Wait, what?
Dude.
That was totally
start
worth
over
it.
again.
That's
No,
a great
do
parable.
not- Do not start again. Just pick up right where you left off.
May those who love us, and those who do not love us. May God turn their hearts. And if he cannot turn their hearts, may he turn their ankles. That way, we may know them by their limping.
That's,
God love the Irish.
yeah, that's actually pretty good. Sadly, I am glad that you restarted. I did want you to pick up where we left off. All right.
Just cut that out. The first.
No. We're
No.
I'm gonna
Take care of that in post.
Yes. All right. Let's do existential question.
Existential question of the week.
No time.
That was pretty. To this installment of Nick's existential question of the week.
Good Christ.
And
Grace, I say.
it's changing every time, too.
I know. It's a little Scottish.
I would say it's becoming more Scottish.
I want it
as
to
it goes
just
on.
move
To full William Wallace.
westward across the continents as the weeks go by.
Yeah, I'm gonna do
As the weeks go by the end of the show, he'll be across around the entire world.
I'm gonna do like the revolution of dance, but just in different dialects as we cross the globe. So in this installment of Existential Question of the Week, we're gonna go into a little bit of trickery here. So this question is going to be about something in your past. Something in your past. What is something that comes to mind very quick? It doesn't have to be the absolute best, but something that comes to your mind of a prank that you played on someone, whether you were a kid or an adult, that was an actual prank. Like, not like I jumped around the corner and scared somebody. Like, damn it, you played a prank. Some sort of tomfoolery, shenanigans, if you will.
Okay, so it's a trick. You didn't actually it's not a. Does it count is it only a prank if at the end you let somebody know it was a prank? Like if you never told them it was a prank and they might still to this day believe that what you did was okay.
I mean, I guess if you knew it was a prank,
Yeah. Like if
What if you profited off of this prank?
okay.
well,
This doesn't.
no. Now we're starting to cross some lines, Bob.
Okay, that's all right.
Yeah.
You said enough.
I'm talking about like
Oh, I know what you're talking about too now.
by
Do you?
by definition, like that someone would consider something. John Q. Public would say, yes, this is a prank. Probably something a kid would do, or
Cans?
Fucking no.
That wasn't the cans?
No.
Oh.
so I can
John Q. Public, always crutching my groove.
I'll go first. I can go first.
Okay.
So
I like how you translated.
I was actually just thinking, I'm like, thank you for giving your own audio subtitles.
it's hard to understand. It's hard to understand
I hate subtitles.
It's hard to understand my mother tongue sometimes.
I'm not even gonna.
I'm sorry, dude. Don't. I know you have Irish.
What
on
about
me.
your mom's tongue?
He has Irish.
Yeah,
on me.
there was so many things I could have said there.
So could you? So anyhow, this was actually at my mom's house where this prank took place, and it was something that I heard.
What's her address?
Yeah, something that I heard about, and I'm like, this doesn't. I don't even know. This doesn't work.
Wait, so you didn't pull? So hold on. What is the question? What is the prank that you pulled? So are you telling us about a prank that you pulled?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it was at nighttime, and there was this prank that I heard of, and I wanted to see if it worked, and I wasn't quite certain like all the mechanics behind it because I was a kid, and I was home, and the only people that were home were my stepdad and my mom, and they were both asleep. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna just try this out. Okay. So it was the old cellophane on the toilet.
Oh no! Wait, you played this trick on your mom?
I did. I played it on someone. All I know is that I set it up in the house. Okay. I went in the downstairs bathroom and pulled the cellophane across underneath the actual toilet seat, and it was that like crystal clear fucking Reynolds. It was the good stuff. And I remember being amazed. I was like, wow, against like the white back. I mean, it really is. There's no light catching on it. It's fucking clear. And so I pressed it all along the sides, and I just put the toilet seat back down. And again, as a kid, like, I don't know what I was thinking, who I thought I was pranking. Like, I don't know. But I went to bed, and that was it. And so I forgot about it. And it wasn't until years later we were all enjoying a drink, and I told that story. And I was like, you asshole. I'm like, what? She's like, I'm like, oh, did I get you? She's like, no, you didn't get me. She's like, but your stepdad peed all over it and it went all over the floor. She's like, and he went straight to bed. He didn't know when I got up the next morning there's pee everywhere.
Okay, hang on.
She's like, I had to clean it up.
So, what page are we on as far as did your stepdad know that it was going everywhere?
My stepdad is very, 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 very Polish, and he's the nicest man in the world. But he could easily pee on some cellophane and go right back to bed and not know. He's a big midnight snacker. So,
I just don't know. Like, even in my worst of states,
yeah, I don't
like when you lift the toilet up and you start taking a piss, like, you know, it's not going in the toilet.
I mean, I don't. Maybe pissing in the dark. I don't know.
All right.
He
I just had to ask because
he hasn't drank in like 60 years, so it's not like he was like.
so there's no drunk excuse. There was
no.
Oh man, that's.
She's like, I had to clean it up the next day. She's like, I asked John about it, and he was like, well, I don't know.
Could have been me.
Yeah. So that works, by the way. That was my prank.
That's why my parents would. Whoa.
Ooh.
I don't know what happened there.
Little stroke?
Yeah. When we were up in Escoda all the time for our family vacations. No, that was one of the number one pranks to get played throughout the entire week, and someone learned that all the water piping for everything in the entire condo complex. This is when we were staying at the a duplex one. That if you put shaving cream on the ceiling above someone's bed in the morning when someone goes and takes a hot shower, all that shaving cream would melt and fall onto the bed. So that was another big prank up north.
I'm so glad we were not a prank family. I would have hated to have been in a prank family.
You were the only prank member of that family.
My dad was not like a prankish person, but my dad was definitely an instigator, and which is how I get the way I am. I literally scared the shit out of someone today at work.
On purpose?
Kind of.
All right.
I mean, not really, but if I knew, I probably still would have done it.
Fair enough.
So I'm sorry. The shaving cream, is that the prank you pulled?
No. I was way too young. This was back when I was a very small child.
Okay.
I was a wee lad, only 2 apples high.
Thank you. That's what I was looking for.
It is St. Patty's Day.
No, I don't know, because there have been so many over all the years. Like, I
could
guess
see your dad as being very pranky.
Yeah, I can see your dad pranking you a lot.
he tried.
Oh, I think he was probably successful.
No,
I don't know if
Really?
you were the sharpest tool in the drawer when it came to your father.
I definitely was.
Come
way
on.
sharper than him.
Come on.
But the one, and I guess you could call it a prank. But we were at one of his doctor's appointments, and we were walking down this hallway, and it was him and my mom walking in front of me, and I had just remembered seeing on TV somewhere that, like, if you put your foot underneath someone else's foot while they're walking and lift up, they immediately fall forward. So I was like,
how would you orchestrate that?
Like when someone like lifts up their foot to go take a step, you just place your foot. It's a very quick action, and as long as you.
So how did you orchestrate that?
I was just walking behind him. I was like, let me see if this works.
Yeah, but you don't have quick actions.
We were walking down a hallway.
Okay, all right.
And so I stuck my foot under his foot that was up, and when he went to go set it down, I lifted up, and he went tumbling over and hit the wall and knocked a bunch of pictures off the wall.
This was your dad?
Really?
Yeah. Right, and the doctor was right there with us, escorting us to the room. And
You decided to do this at a doctor's office?
so a couple pictures went flying.
And your mom was there.
Were these pictures
Yeah,
of like other doctors? What pictures are on the wall at a doctor's office?
just like those stupid
Diplomas.
decorative
his
pictures.
diplomas.
No, there's no diplomas.
Decorative. Oh,
He didn't go to college.
Yeah, no, he never graduated medical school.
Veterinary school,
Shitty
maybe.
doctor. But yeah, he hit those pictures off the wall, hit the ground, and I
Did
was
your
like,
mom see you do this?
dude, she knew right away it was me.
Okay. All right.
My dad just doesn't go tumbling down hallways.
Why?
As a matter of fact, to be honest with you, that was the first and I think only time in my life that I ever saw him like actually fall.
Okay.
So he wasn't just stumbling into stuff all the time.
Do you understand the giant cauldron of DNA and everything that he's stirring up right now to make sure that whatever child that you get is going to be like 10 times worse
I mean,
what you did to him, he's like, oh,
I probably
keep
have
going, buddy.
I
Keep
probably
going.
have it coming. So,
Oh yeah,
but yeah. So I did that, and as
you're low hanging fruit too.
as he was trying to
You got a boiled Chad's coming.
Trying to-
son of a gun.
trying to shake the fall off,
Yeah.
my mom just turned around and looked at me with the most devilish eyes, and she's like, "You need to leave the office right now." And I was like, "You are correct." And I turned around and I booked it out of there.
What'd your dad do?
He was still trying to get up because he wasn't expecting anything. And
Well, so what happened once you finally saw him again?
in all honesty, I was probably beat so hard I really don't remember.
Stop it.
No, I mean, my mom was not happy with me. Once my dad calmed down, he realized it was pretty funny. He would never have told me that to my face,
Yeah.
but you could tell by his demeanor once he got in the car, like he was fine with it. But my mom was not fine with it.
Right.
Why? Because you made everyone look like idiots or whatever.
Well, now she has to do the work to calm him down, explain like, oh, he's just a
Yeah,
kid. He didn't
it-
know any better.
the doctor's going, is everything okay?
Yeah. Did you have a stroke?
Well, and then he had just had his quadruple bypass like
And you
a
tripped
couple
him.
months earlier, and I tripped him.
Yeah.
But I thought my dad was okay now because he had his bypass, so he's good. Like
Yeah.
there's no problems
He can
anymore.
fall right on his
Yeah.
chest. Yeah.
So I think that was her like main concern.
Think your dad got the last laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Cory.
Yeah.
So that I think that's probably my number one most memorable prank as far as a reaction to other people seeing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'll never forget it, especially that look in my mom's eye when she turned around. She didn't even have to say to leave the office. All she had to do was turn around. And I would be like, okay, I'll leave.
Wouldn't that have been something if your dad like went for the long con and told your mother like, hey, if something ever does happen to me heart wise, I want you to say to Cory
No.
that the doctor told us. Had he had any falls in the past?
Oh, no.
Like that's your dad's one last final fucking.
That would've been pretty
nail
good.
in the
Yeah.
coffin.
I can't imagine your mom ever agreeing to that.
No, she would
Or
never.
following
No,
through.
she would never have done that.
I could see your dad saying something like that.
Oh yeah. Oh, he definitely would have. Yeah, there you go. That's I think my number one prank.
Were you in the waiting room laughing though?
Oh no,
No, he hitchhiked home. He walked down
Were you
Telegraph.
terrified?
Yeah.
no,
Got a ride with a trucker. to
I
go
was
back
with
home.
I waited outside. I didn't even wait in the building.
Yeah. It's probably a smart idea.
See, even though it wasn't really a prank, I was thinking the whole blinds issue.
Which when I shot
Yeah,
that wasn't a prank. That was just me being stupid and
yeah.
trying to figure something out as a 16-year-old kid.
All right, Bob.
If it's one that I engineered alone, it would probably be
Having my children. Gotcha.
haha, never intended to do this. No, I have two younger sisters, and when we were kids, they shared a room, and I had my own room, and I would go into their closet. They had like a double closet with two separate doors, but I would take a few articles of clothing from one closet and swap them with the other closet, and then wait for them to get home and start yelling at each other for, why did you take my clothes? And it would inevitably turn into like a knockdown, drag out fight because that's how my sisters were. And then
Oh,
the next
girls
day-
with clothes? Yeah, fuck yeah.
And the next day I would do with the shoes, and I would just swap them back and forth. And I would like take a shoe and just like bang it against the table and the side of the door and put some scuffs in
Scuffs
it.
all
Put
over
it
it.
back in and then just sit in my room and just listen. And I thought it was amazing.
It's almost sadistic.
I was gonna say I don't think he had to go as far as damaging the items, but
I mean, damage, they're going to get scuffs. I mean, you're kids.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
But you know with your own
It's not like
things.
I cut sleeves off of clothes or anything like that.
But you know with your own things, like, okay, I did not put a bunch of scuffs on this shoe.
No, but these weren't like Sunday best shoes. They were, like brand new tennis shoes with like a white, toe that wasn't so white anymore when I.
Oh, I mean, you don't have to
back in the
explain
closet.
yourself. I get it.
Yeah.
Wow. Problem child.
I mean, they gave as good as they got, so it's not like nothing ever happened to me, or I wasn't sucker punched during like games of Sorry on a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's not a physical game.
You haven't played with my sisters.
In all honesty, I don't think I'd ever play a game with Becky for sure.
I would recommend against it.
Yeah,
To be honest with you,
there's been a couple of times where I've seen her that I've been like,
she strikes you as someone who would lose her shit over a board game, doesn't she?
oh, easily,
Yeah, she's very competitive,
easily.
hyper competitive.
Like,
But when you were the middle child, and you're also the shortest child, I mean, that's got to do something for your. That's probably how Hitler started. That's why he took over the Rhineland and marched into Eastern Europe. And
if you put a little stash on Becky, I could see it.
yeah, I could totally see her just the preaching at the pulpit.
I take offense to that.
So,
As you should.
So I think that was
Fuhrer?
it. There's been a couple other ones, but they were not. I did not orchestrate those. I was merely a participant.
Oh, can I tell you guys something?
Yeah.
Because I have one up my sleeve that I've been hanging on to.
Why didn't you mention it instead of?
Because I haven't done it yet.
To Danielle.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
talking. Oh, this is a to be
Yes.
pulled prank.
Yes.
Okay, that
I'm gonna put my foot under her foot as
that
she's
the internet and our tens of followers might actually hear about before she does, because she's never going to listen to this episode.
No, that's why I'm telling you guys.
Okay.
Luckily,
Yeah.
she's in a impenetrable fortress of solitude right now, and she can't hear us.
of her own construction. By the
She
way,
has her AirPods and she's watching a movie.
yeah,
she's fine.
not. Yeah,
So we went to this shop out in Romeo by her mom that had a bunch of these old school like little poppers that you throw on the ground.
Yeah.
But they also had ones with strings attached to them. So I bought a box of each, just being like, well,
did she see you buy them?
yeah. Oh, but we're talking. This is already like 6 months ago, so I know she's completely forgot about them.
Okay.
But the thing was that really attracted me to them was that they weren't like those little shitty like in a piece of like cheesecloth
yeah.
paper little poppers.
I mean like rice paper, not cheesecloth.
Either
A
way,
little bit more
that's-
heavy duty.
yeah.
Yeah.
They were like little red dynamite sticks. And so when we walked outside, her and her mom were sitting on the bench. We were waiting for her dad to come back from whatever. And I took one of them out and I threw it on the ground. And there were people down the street that stopped and turned around. That's how loud this fucking thing was.
So it's basically a bunch of that dust into a larger vessel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. That seems awesome.
And there's one, and I said there's ones that they sold that has strings attached to them. So the first thing I thought, I'm like, oh my God. When she goes to bed one night and I come into bed later, I'm going to shut the bedroom door and I'm going to tape one to the top of the door. So in the morning at 6:45 when she gets up and opens the door, that thing's going to go off and scare the ever living fuck out of her.
Wouldn't it wake
But
you
you're
up
gonna
too?
be there.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's a. I want it to wake me up because
Sacrifice you're willing to make.
I want to see her reaction.
Why wouldn't you set it up? Because then she goes to work way before you do,
Yeah.
and then she gets home before you do. Why wouldn't you set it up after she leaves so that when she gets home, there it is?
Because I won't be there.
But you got cameras.
Yeah, but
Couldn't you put it like if you know she
You
comes,
want to see it.
if you know she comes through the front door, like after she leaves, couldn't you somehow attach the front door, then go out the back?
Yeah.
And put the camera, like one of your wireless cameras, inside to capture the whole thing.
I thought his cameras were capturing all angles of every room.
I don't know,
Yeah,
but they're mobile, so you could move them wherever you wanted.
Right.
yeah, I don't know.
But clearly you want to be there to see it.
Or at least be woken up by the experience.
That's.
I feel like
Do you think that it because if you're woken up by it, that you could somehow go like, I was asleep? Couldn't have been me.
Well, no, I mean,
I think-
she's gonna know it was me.
I think
Well,
I think
then
just
why
like,
would you want to be there?
I think just like the situation with your dad, it would be better if you were not there. Because
I would agree with
she's
that.
liable to sock you right in the side, and at least you
That's fine.
You can replay the video and laugh.
Now, is she capable of like retribution?
She can try.
Do you think she would?
No.
I think
All right, so
I think the best thing would be like
maybe it doesn't matter if he's there.
underneath the toilet seat after she goes to bed, and then
You and your toilet fetish. Jesus.
Yes, I'm aroused right now. just talking about it.
Cellophane.
she's going to sit down.
Cherry bombs.
Bam!
Yeah, but that would concern me about leaving an actual. I mean, these things are fucking powerful. That would concern me about leaving a mark like actually on the toilet of it exploding. So,
You'd rather
you're not thinking about her ass sitting on the toilet. You're thinking about the toilet.
the toilet. Yeah, you'd rather it just shoot all over the carpet while you're asleep.
Right
no,
by her.
I'm talking
right
about
by her
putting
face.
it on the door. No,
Yeah.
it would be above on the door frame.
Right into her eyes.
Yeah.
It'd be above her. There's no way it's getting into her
She was like,
eyes.
No.
Yeah. Bam.
Yeah. Eyes
That's what
open,
you're- that's what
in
you're
the
thinking
mouth,
about? Yep.
singeing the tongue.
Yep.
Sure, if that's how you guys want to see it, yes, that's exactly how I'm looking at
Yep.
it.
Burning the eyeballs.
I mean, they call them freak accident.
I
accidents
can't
for a
wait to
reason.
hear about it.
I can't either. Oh well,
I know
there's
I wouldn't want to be there, so.
there's been a couple nights where I've
Oh, you and I aren't going to be there. We're going to have the glory of.
But I'm
hearing
saying,
about
yeah,
the
I don't
fallout
know
afterward.
why he would want to be, because
He knows that she's not going to do it.
Chances are he's not going to wake up from it, and she's probably going to jump right on the bed and start beating the shit out of him.
Yeah, that's probably more the case.
like I said,
Yeah,
it'll be
you don't
worth every
appear to
punch.
be a. We've gone on vacations before. You don't appear to be a loud noise wake up kind of guy.
No.
I've
but-
been getting better.
But I could just see, like, Cory Michael, and she's going to be smacking you and stuff. And
No, because then what even better part is she'll be so upset then when I just lay there and take the beating because I just want to go back to bed, and it's not affecting anything. It's gonna make her even more upset, and it adds on to the prank.
Yeah, this sounds
Man,
like it's
you should
gonna
write
go-
a book.
It's going to go well. I feel.
First Few Years of Marriage by Cory Michael.
We just to
Ooh,
be
excuse me.
clear, we stated months ago we actually have. Well, maybe it was me and
I just got the pre-shivers
we.
thinking about drinking this.
yeah, we got to do that because it's just getting warmer the longer it sits there. We talked about having the Selesky report.
Yeah, that didn't, it went over like a lead balloon. So
Yeah, it did. But now you're asking for it again. So I'm like, all right, I guess it has to be a Nick idea in order for it to happen.
No, it was a Nick idea.
No, it was not a Nick idea. It was a Bob idea. And that's why it didn't go over very well. But now that it's a Nick idea, maybe it'll get some traction.
No.
All right, so we each have a Fireball cinnamon and a Fireball cinnamon whiskey. And Cory, do you want to really quickly run down why we have these, what the difference is?
Yeah, one's malt liquor, and it can be sold at gas stations that do not have a liquor license, as opposed to where the other, that's the cinnamon whiskey, you have to buy from an actual liquor store.
Now, for those of you who don't drink Fireball, you might be thinking, why would you drink either of those? But put yourself in the position of those who do, and someone who should be outraged that one of these is being sold when, in fact, it looks exactly like the cinnamon whiskey that we've come to know and love over the course of
Minus just that little word whiskey at the bottom.
so many years. So, all right, so what are we doing here, Cory?
Are we doing the...
Let's do the worst one first. The one that we're...
So you want to do just the cinnamon first?
So just so
Yeah,
you
what do
guys,
you think?
yeah, just so you guys are familiar with it. The only, like he said, the only thing that's different on this bottle, and there was a huge throwdown fight about this when we talked about it earlier, because I don't agree with this. I think it's false advertising. I think it's very misleading. I understand that they want to be able to sell to gas stations. But, when Bud Light came out with Select 55, they did not market it as a Bud Light can and just change a small piece of text on the bottom of it to fool people. They were clearly trying to fool people into buying it and thinking, oh, my God, look at this. I'm at a gas station that doesn't even sell booze, and I can buy Fireball. And, yeah, so one of them is 33%. The other one is half of that at 16.5%.
Yeah, it
Which-
says malt beverage with natural whiskey and other flavors.
So we know
and caramel
we know
color.
what regular Fireball tastes like. So let's taste this
This bastard concoction.
the sheep and wolf's clothing.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah.
so the cinnamon one first?
Yep.
Yep.
Cheers.
Cheers.
What the fuck?
I'll be honest.
I already don't like Fireball, but I like it even less if I know I'm not going to get drunk.
Yeah, so I'll be honest with you. It tastes very similar, which is scary. It does have that. I feel like there's a little bit more cinnamon flavor.
It's more like of a candied flavor.
Yeah.
Than the whiskey version.
But I certainly, if we were floating down the river, which we will be very soon, and hitting a bottle of Fireball and passing it around, none of us would ask any questions. But it tastes a little smoother. I would say it's closer to Dr. McGillicuddy's, which also has less alcohol in it. But they're very clear about that. This is not so clear, which pisses me off. Now, if it was half the booze, maybe there's a market for that. It should say
There's definitely a market for that.
Half the booze, half the calories. They should be putting that on the side.
Oh, you're saying they're marketing it incorrectly.
Yeah, they're marketing it to try and get the same amount of money and fooling people to think that this is what it is under the guise of, hey, no, that's not what we're doing. We just want to sell at more locations. And if that was the case, then they should not have a problem with making it very clear. Because if their customers are the most important thing, as most companies would say, then they'd want their customers to know, like, hey, look, maybe you're looking for something with less calories in it. Maybe you're looking for something with less booze in it, because I certainly, on some days, I may want to buy this. Mm-hmm. And I want to know where to find this in a larger container. Maybe we're going down the river that day, and I don't want to get super fucked up. And I'm like, yeah, I want this.
That's what I was going to say, because I'll go against the grain a little bit, because I do prefer the taste of that over the actual whiskey one. It's a smoother taste.
Yeah.
It's more of like just like a candied, like
It's
hot
like a
tamales.
watered down Fireball, kind of. I mean, really, honestly, yeah. It's kind of what it is.
So,
but it is, as Cory said, it's more of a red hot flavor.
Yeah. Oh, most definitely.
All right. I don't think I need to drink this right now because it's
we can
not
throw
quite
those,
room temperature,
throw those
but
back in.
Yeah, it's quite warm. I'll come get it from you.
I mean, so for those that don't know a lot, or maybe they're not big drinkers or whatever, unlike us, to give you an idea, a shot of vodka that would go into your Fuzzy Navel or your vodka and Coke or something like that is 40% alcohol by volume. Mm-hmm. Fireball whiskey is, 35 it said, or something like that?
I think so.
35%. So it's already lower than normal spirits. And I think it's to compensate for all the sugar and everything that they have to add to it. So it's a little bit lower. It's not a lot lower, but it's a little bit. This is half of that. So this is basically, I would say, probably 1/3.
Okay.
One third of a shot of vodka.
Okay.
Yeah. So to put the alcohol part of it into perspective.
I think they're clearly marketing it to the audience of people who are just wanting to do a lot of shots. Less alcohol content, but you still feel like you're getting a whiskey taste, or it's a kitschy kind of a thing. You're going to buy more of it, and you're going to drink for longer.
Yeah, I certainly don't buy the fact that they're being any kind of transparent in regards to this. I don't.
They are exploiting a loophole that allows them to sell into the kind of, high-end gas stations that Mr. Schnozzcast frequents.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll be honest with you. There's been many times that I've been, at a liquor store. I don't really buy my booze from gas stations, but
yeah.
But I've been at gas stations and I've seen Fireball and I thought it was interesting. Like, wow, that's kind of cool. They got the little 10 packs or whatever, and I wouldn't have thought twice to inspect it to see if it said whiskey. Or I've drank Fireball for years and years and years, and I wouldn't know that one said whiskey and one just said cinnamon. I mean, they look identical other than one word.
It was a shot across the bow for this podcast for sure.
Yeah, and so I there's no question about it. Like, don't wrap it up and put a bow on it and say This is just
Right.
a different way to market it to different locations. Like that may be an undertone for the company, but the idea is people recognize Fireball.
Mm-hmm.
People like Fireball. It's very, very popular. They want to sell more Fireball, and they want to sell in locations that they normally couldn't sell Fireball. So they're doing this to make it look as close to Fireball as possible. So maybe those people don't think about it, because I feel like most companies feel like the general public are a bunch of idiots, and they're, hey, we're going to get away with it for so long, and maybe some people, when they find out, they just don't care.
How dare they recognize that we are the idiots they think we are?
Good job, Fireball. Good job.
Yeah.
I mean, they certainly have, commercials and Ignite the Night and all this other stuff. I don't see any commercials about, oh, you like Fireball cinnamon whiskey?
Wait, hold on. Is that a Fireball commercial? Ignite the Night?
Yep.
Yeah. You've never seen one of those?
No, I don't watch commercials. No.
A couple of your streaming services still have commercials.
I try to skip past them every chance I can.
Kind of hard to do that sometimes.
You could walk out of the room.
I guess if you're doing that, fair enough.
I'm like, I don't really have to go to the bathroom, but I'm just going to try to squeeze out a couple of drops because I don't want to watch whatever they're selling here.
If you're going to that extent, then yes, you are skipping commercials. I guess.
Yeah.
Like I would love it if maybe they just change the caps. Like if they change the caps to like white caps, and they said, hey, these are are reduced. We can sell them in more locations. If you want something with a little less alcohol in it, less calories.
I feel like they did exactly what a board of directors would do when they found out that they could sell in gas stations. And they're like, what are the least amount of things we'd have to change about that label?
Exactly.
That's what they did. They're like, hold on. We can, as long as we change this, it can look exactly the same. Done. Johnson, put it into circulation immediately.
And which I stand corrected on my original argument, because I was swearing that they would have been the same percentage, but they're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you did. You're like, I think you said, if anything, it's going to be higher proof because it's malt liquor. I'm like, no, it's not.
Yeah, no. So I stand corrected on that, and I'm not upset by it. It's exactly what Bob's just saying. But I get your point of as a consumer what it should be. But what the reality of it is that they're able to make more millions by selling them being able to sell them at gas stations and places that can't sell liquor
at our expense. Yeah. So, but I think the idea is pretty clear though. They probably said, what's the highest proof thing that you can sell at a location that has a beer and wine license? And they probably said, well, 16.5 is the highest proof wine that a beer and wine license can sell. And they said, done, 16.5%.
Yeah.
Because wine,
as they should.
Wine is about 16 point. Some wines are about 16.5%.
Yeah, no, I mean, and like you said too, like it could have its place because like when we're out on the river, I'd much rather kind of knock that alcohol percentage down a little bit to be able to have a couple more shots and be like, oh yeah, we'll be good at the end.
Yeah.
Rather than have the full proof Fireball and by then we're like, we can barely function.
Let's go ahead and start with the 32-year-old Scotch, and we're just gonna sip on that for the first hour, and then from there we're gonna go into the Everclear. We're all about longevity. How long can we stretch this out? For the entire day?
Yeah,
from like morning until night.
There's not many avenues where I can say that, really get away with the fact by telling people we're social drinkers. But in that capacity, when you're on a river and you have to have somewhat of your wits about you and kind of know where you're going, and you have to leave at some point, and you're not, most rivers aren't 5 minutes from my house, so you have to go home. Yeah, granted, most of the time you're sweating, you're paddling, it's 85 to 90 degrees.
You don't feel it in the moment.
You're sweating it all out.
Yeah.
You're sweating a lot of it out. But something like this, I mean, I think that's why Dr. McGillicuddy's apple pie goes down so well, because it is like 10% less than Fireball.
You're not getting that huge alcohol kick that's really putting you over the edge.
Yeah, you get a nice little buzz at the time. You can do more shots, and you're still okay. You're still fine.
Yeah, how many people do you think are listening to this going like, that's exactly what alcoholics would say?
Yeah.
Oh, and then they go get in kayaks.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah. These are the problems with our world today.
Yeah, these motherfuckers.
Well, we think we're just fine, so
And then they get in a car and drive around? Yes, they do. They drive around.
straight home.
Yeah, 12 hours later.
Right. In the middle of the night?
Yeah. That's how you
That's how I
in the
ended.
middle of the night.
Well, hold on.
It was like a
Yeah, hold on.
question.
Well,
It was like,
let's
in the
not
middle
end
of the
it that way.
night?
Let's not end it that way.
Yeah.
Let's not end it that way.
I thought he
In
was
the
going
middle
into
of
a
the night,
rendition of a Billy Joel song.
I can walk in my sleep.
After having paddled through the dark, trying to follow your friends, one of whom has a light. You don't have a light. People are just hanging about in a floaty tube, going like, "I'm not participating at all. It's fine. Other people
Mountains
can paddle
of
for me."
faith.
And you're like, "Please, dude, please just get me home, because I can't see shit.
River so
I don't know what
deep.
time it is. I don't know where my car is. I keep getting stuck behind this branch." And when I get stuck, like, everybody just keeps on going. Like, I need somebody to come back for me. Like, that's what I'm talking about.
You were slightly panicked that day.
Yeah, I was.
Nick,
I had a
Better,
great. I had a-
better to end on that note.
I'm stuck again.
Yeah.
it makes more sense.
All right. As long as it makes more sense.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Hiawatha and his boy kept going.
We'll see you next weekend. Peace out.